Tonight's message is to not lose yourself in becoming a parent. And this is this is such an important philosophy for so many reasons. But I think that's what happens. Society builds this expectation that once we become a parent, that the sole point of our existence is to raise a child. And personally, I believe that, as an entire human race, we need to stop loving our kids so much and start leading them, giving them some leadership in the way of preparing them, taking responsibility as a parent to prepare them for what we've got to prepare them for, and that is for life. And, personally, one of the things really close to my heart is to teach my children to chase their dreams. And, I want them to be the kind of people that will chase their dreams relentlessly, no matter what. I don't want them to hold off on their dreams for their children, for their partners, for any reason. You have a purpose, you have a gift, discover what it is, go use it and serve the masses, because nothing will fulfill you more in life than discovering what your purpose is and using it and watching the significance that you can have ripple effects right across the world. Nothing, for me personally, and I'm sure you probably agree, nothing's more important than fulfillment, because fulfillment is what lets us know why we're here and that we're on track with that. And so if you want your children to chase your dreams, guess what? The best way to teach them to chase their dreams is to let them see you chase yours. This is leadership, right? Leading by example, not just trying to encourage them to do, because we don't believe what we hear, we believe what we experience. Okay, our belief systems are shaped more by our experiences than they are by the words that we hear. And so when we hear things that are incongruent or not supported by our experiences, we question those beliefs too easy, or we don't put them as high on our values. And that's typically what happens with our children. All these parents saying, go for it, register for this and try out for that team and chase your dreams. But here's what I believe. We just lost an entire generation to, drugs and gangs and addictions and depressions and whatever else, because everybody, nobody was able to find their hero without having to leave the front door. So my message to you is to make sure your children can find their hero without having to leave the front door. Make sure that the person that they can look up to, the person that they want to be like, the person that they learn from, the person they're inspired by, the person that breathes life into their spirit, not just by what they hear, but by what they watch and what they see take place, exists right there in your home, right within the front door. They don't have to leave your house to find their hero. And, personally, I believe that's what we need to do. We need to stop worrying about, so much of just trying to be their parent and start being their hero. Be the example that we want them to be able to follow. Because, courage isn't something you can teach. It's something you demonstrate. There are so many virtues that can't be taught through words. They have to be taught through demonstrations. And they are picked up like that. So if you want to teach your children to have courage, guess how they're going to learn that? By watching you show courage. Guess how they're going to learn to be driven and determined and focused? Through watching you. And don't be sorry for it. I want to lift all the guilt off you. Do not be sorry. Your responsibility as a parent is to prepare your child for life, so that when you hand them over to this world, you hand over an asset, not a liability. And one of those is being able to allow them to deal with the emotions that life's going to throw at them. Because I think that we've just got to this point where and even the generation that raised us, they protected us from too many emotions. They didn't want us to feel disappointed. And so they taught us not to get our hopes up. Because if you don't get your hopes up, don't put all your eggs in one basket, all those kind of things. Their intentions behind that was so that we didn't get our feelings hurt if we didn't get what we want. So I know their intentions came from a place of love, but they tried to love us so much that they stopped leading us, and we didn't have an example. And now we've got an entire generation of messed up adults trying to find our way, trying to work out who it is we are, because all along the way we haven't been allowed or haven't been given permission to feel what life feels like. And so, I'll give you an example. Sometimes when I've got to leave the house and I've got meetings, or, I'm going out to do phone calls and our girls don't want me to go, Where are you going tonight, mummy? The answer is, you know what? Mummy's going to chase her dreams tonight. I've got a lot of people I got to help, guys. See ya. And I want you to detach. It is not your responsibility to be able to prevent your child from feeling those emotions. They're supposed to miss you. I teach our girls, I hope you miss me tonight. See ya. I hope you miss me tonight. You know what? The more you miss me means the more you love me. Yeah, I'm going to America for a week. You're supposed to miss me. I don't try and say, oh, don't worry, mummy will be home. I'll miss you too. No, we're supposed to miss each other. That's what's supposed to happen. That's not a bad emotion. Don't let that feel wrong. That's how you know you're feeling exactly right. You don't miss the people you don't love. You only miss people you love. So the more you miss me means the more you love me. And I love knowing that you love me. So I know I love knowing you miss me because I know that means you love me. So now every time that they miss me, instead of interpreting that as an emotion they want to get rid of, oh, can you come home, mummy, I miss you. What we're teaching our children is to not process the emotions. We're basically teaching them to go, I don't want to feel this and I don't want to process how I feel. So can you just come home? Can I just get you to change your behavior, and behave in a way that allows me to not have to process what I'm feeling, because this is too hard to process right now. I'm disappointed. I don't want you to go to your meeting tonight, mummy. I understand you don't want me to go, but you know what? I've got some dreams, and my dreams are really important to me, and I want your dreams to be important to you. So whether you want me to go or not tonight, whether I want to go or not tonight, I'm going anyway because I made a commitment. And so, yeah, and I want to tell you, how important it is. I want to share a story with you that really, when I say broke my heart, I should say touched my heart. That really reinforced the message I'm sharing with you tonight. And that's something that, when I wrote my first book back in November, it was about a week later, and our 6-year-old came out. She was sitting in her room for 1 or 2 hours, and she came out and said, oh, Mum, I've written a book. I said, really? Show me that. Anyway, so she hands over, I should have got it. You know what, I'll read it out on one of these Periscopes one day. So I sat there and I read these 2 pages that she had written. And essentially she had written a message similar to my book with all her own words and, changed it slightly. But the message was the same. And I just remember sitting there, it gave me tears. And I just remember thinking, you know what? If I wouldn't have had the courage to chase my dream and to push my kids aside for that week, or for those couple of days where I was just solely focused on this message that was coming through me that I wanted to put in a book and get done. You could technically say I had to neglect my kids for a couple of days there. They didn't get all of my attention. Life was out of balance for us for a couple of days while I was just so heavily focused on getting that done. And, some people focus on what the kids missed out on. I'm like, they learned a life lesson. If you're going to feel those emotions, I want you to see how those emotions can serve you. I don't want you to just go through life thinking that those emotions do nothing but hurt you. So if you're feeling those at the cost, if that's the sacrifice you make at the cost of me chasing my dreams, then I want you to feel that as many times as you can in your life before I let you go out there to that world. So I sat there thinking to myself, if I wouldn't have given myself permission to find my purpose that I have outside of being here to be a mum, outside of being here to raise some kids. Listen, your life, you are not here to have children. The reason you came here was not to have children. I know that's not your life purpose. You know how I know that? Because if you never would have had children, there'd still be a reason you were here. And before you had kids, there was a reason you're here. And long after your kids are out of beyond your responsibility, I guess, and living their own lives, you still have a reason for being here. So therefore, your reason for being here cannot be to raise kids. Now, I'm not saying you can't love your kids and you can't be, you guys know, right? I love my kids, of course, we all do. But do your children this one favor. Don't love them at the cost of loving you, because you pay a price that's too high. You empty your own love bucket, you empty your own value bucket, you empty your self-worth bucket becomes completely, not just empty, but completely rusted out, and your kids deserve a better mother than a mother with an empty bucket, or your kids deserve a better father than a father with an empty bucket. So give yourself that permission, because here's the thing. I sat there thinking, when my 6-year-old came out with his book, I sat there thinking to myself, I could not, I was in tears. I just went, if I wouldn't have had the courage to do that, if I wouldn't have given myself permission, loved myself enough to give myself permission to make that a priority that week, even if it meant life being out of balance for a few days and the kids not getting the attention they normally get, and, But I didn't just push them aside. I let them know, guys, mummy's writing a book right now. I've got a message coming to me. I need to listen and pay attention to it. I know we normally do X, Y, Z, but we're not doing that tonight because a dream just came to me and I've got to make this happen. So I didn't just push them aside and they didn't know about it. I explained to them the whole time. And if it wasn't, hey there, Alex, good to see you on Periscope. And if it wasn't for me having the courage to do that and for you having the courage to work out what your value is and what your worth is and what dream it is you're going to chase, I would never have inspired I had a daughter that was 6, and I'm not saying that I'm special or clever. I'm saying this is what you can do. Just because you give yourself permission to have a purpose beyond your family, guess what? That inspired my 6-year-old to write a book at 6 years old with a message that was profound. And I wish I had had it on me now and I would have read it to you. You would have cried and you don't even know it, right? So I just thought to myself, wow, I have a daughter that would have missed out on an inspired moment that inspired her so deeply that it literally drove her into taking action of writing her own book at 6 years old, and the ability to plant that seed in her. The harvest never looks like the seed. She'll have a harvest one day that you can't even imagine from, the seeds that you've planted. But here's the thing. If I wouldn't have allowed myself to have that moment, that seed would never have been planted in her. She would never have produced the harvest that the nurturing of that seed will eventually produce. And so me not chasing my dreams would have taken away a moment of inspiration out of my child's life. And I want you to really take that message to heart. Every time that you don't give yourself permission to chase something, every time, amen to that, right? Every time that you put your kids before something that totally just stirs your spirit in a way that you are like, I've got to do something with this feeling. Every time you serve your family or your children over serving that feeling, you do everybody an injustice, including your children. So my message tonight is this. I could be here for literally 3 hours and not even take a breath. I just realized I've spoken so fast. Do me a favor, if you've got something out of this so far, double tap your screen. For those of you that are new to Periscope, anytime you like what you're hearing, the way that you give me feedback so that I know I'm giving you value and I understand what the audience likes. I don't get to see you as though we're sitting in a room together. So I need your feedback through double tapping your screen. And the more you double tap, the more love hearts that'll produce. That's how I get my feedback. Or you can write some comments. Let me know. Did you get something out of this tonight? I could be here forever. But let me just sum up my message. Here's the overall message I mentioned at the start. Our children need to be able to find their hero without having to leave the front door. You need to be the hero your child needs in their life. I love the not feeling guilty when I leave. You find that hard. Yeah, but the only reason you find it hard to leave, New York's on the line. We've got New York, California, Hawaii. Check this out. You could listen for 3 hours. Oh, you're so cute, Kelly. You just threw me on that. So our kids need to be able to find their hero without leaving the front door. Don't ask yourself, what have I done in the way of my responsibility to be a parent and raise a child today? I want you to ask yourself every day, what have I done to be a hero, to be an example to my child that has the ability to plant a seed of inspiration in my child, deep in their spirit. We don't want our children to have to go outside of our front door to find their heroes, because guess what? They end like I said, we just lost a whole generation to drugs and addictions and depressions and gangs and whatever else, because all of those people were looking for a hero they could look up to, they could aspire to, and they couldn't find them inside the front door. So they found them at all costs, and for some people it cost them more than it ever should have cost them. And so the way that we protect our children, the way you put an insurance policy on your child's life is to find what your purpose is and to let them see you chase that. Let them see you, now we're losing them to technology. Now technology can be used in a good and a bad way. Yeah, you can lose them to technology, or you can teach them how to use technology to reach a larger audience. Here we are, on technology now, Facebook, all these, social media platforms are an incredible platform to reach a larger audience. Tonight we've got Hawaii, New York, California on the line. These are people that I don't even know if I know these people. Maybe you've met me in America at some kind of event. Maybe you haven't. But, we want to be able to teach them how to not get lost in technology, but to use technology as a platform for distributing their message on a larger scale. And guess how they learn to chase their dreams and to do that? By watching you chase yours, not by hearing you, not by listening to you. Haven't you noticed? Kids aren't always, in fact, they're barely ever listening, right? It's like, do they ever listen? Here's the thing. They might not always be listening, but they are always watching. They are always watching. And so ask yourself at the end of every day, what example have I been to them? Not just how have I raised them and, kept them safe and protected, and how have I loved them today? What example have I been to them? How was I a hero today? How might I have potentially planted a moment of inspiration in their spirit today? Because they're going to be looking for that feeling, that, that they're looking for that inspiration. I believe that the generation coming here right now, they're already more awakened than us. We're going through an awakening process. They're already awake. That's why they come here so resistant to our rules. They have no respect for the status quo whatsoever, because they're not supposed to. They're not supposed to respect our ways. You know why? Our ways produce our world. And they're not supposed to produce another world like this world. They're supposed to produce the next world. So I love the fact. So we need to embrace all of that, and we need to be the example. Don't just love them, lead them. Don't just love them, lead them. And make that one of your affirmations. I don't just love my children, I lead my children. I don't just love them, I lead them. I'm an example to them. I let them experience all the emotions of disappointment. I want you to feel all those feelings in a way that serves you. If you experience disappointment because you're disappointed, I'm going to a meeting and I'm not going to be home tonight because I'm out chasing my dream, then that's going to serve you. But if you're disappointed because because you don't get my time, because my bucket is so empty, I just don't even have any heart space, head space, or emotional space for you, and even if I pretend I'm sitting down with you, you just can't get vibration from me, and that's what disappoints you. That disappointment that's too high of a price. Your child's experiencing disappointment at a price that I believe, my opinion is, that's too high. But if they're experiencing disappointment in a way that serves them because it returns to them more than the price of the feeling, then that's the kind of feeling you want to create. You want them to experience that 10 times a day. So, parents, your project tonight is to not fall asleep with, just before you go to bed tonight. The last thing you do isn't check your Facebook. You do all of that, whatever it is you normally do, go ahead and do that. The last thing you do, what if your husband makes you feel bad for chasing your dreams? Hey, you be an example. You know what? You use your husband or your wife or whoever it is that it's opposing you chasing your dreams. You use them as an example. This is a great scenario. Thanks for asking that, Carmen. Let me quickly, I was just about to finish this off, but there you go. There's a message that needs to be shared, right? So, what you do there is when you've got someone, when you're sleeping with the enemy, essentially, someone that's not supporting you, my personal belief, my own advice, you might not agree, but this is what I'll personally do. That's where I get to give my kids the best lesson of life, because guess what? You're going to have dreams in life that no one else can see. In fact, if someone else can see your dream, it's not your purpose, because your purpose is something only you can see. It gets sent to you because it's for you. It's not for anyone else. What's the part of that process? People aren't going to believe you. People aren't going to support you. And typically, it's family and friends, right? Typically, your friends and family won't support you until they see strangers celebrating you. All of a sudden, they see strangers, acting like you're some hero, and now they're your best friend, and they want everyone to know that they're friends with you, right? But it doesn't happen till then, especially if you come from, bloody Aussies are the worst for that. But go ahead and be the example. Go ahead and teach your kids about resilience. Use it as a way, you know what? You might not support my dreams, but I don't give up on my dream. I don't need your approval on my dreams. I don't need you to approve of what I believe is important to me. I already know what my dream is. I already know I can already feel the inspiration in my spirit that pulls me in a direction that I can't resist. And you can give me all the lack of support you like, and I'm going to use you as an example to show my children, don't you ever Don't you ever let anybody, don't just tell you, think about it. What would your message be to your child? Don't let anyone take your dreams. I don't care if it's your husband. I don't care if it's your wife. I don't care if it's your best friend. I don't care if it's your own children. I don't want to ever see you lose your dreams to somebody else. So be that example, because that's how you teach them that. You get your respect. You have respect for your partner. You honor their journey. You let them have their opinion, but you use language, and more importantly, you show behavior that shows your child. You're the example that shows. No one takes my dream. Nothing limits me when it comes to following my place of inspiration. Nothing does. Not even my partner. And they learn the strongest lesson on resilience and on the importance of staying focused and staying true to yourselves through watching you do that. There you go. The Aussie way. Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, guys, we've been on this here too long tonight. Like I said, I could talk for 3 hours. I can even feel another message coming on right now, but I'm going to stop. I'm going to make a note on the message that I'm feeling, because if I start on this topic, which I've done before, we've lost the night. I'm telling you, we're going to be on here for like an hour, because once I start that message, some of you have been in my audience, and when that message starts rolling, it doesn't stop. So I'm not going to do it tonight, but I tell you what, next Tuesday night, I'm going to cover that. I'm going to go make myself a note right now so I don't forget. So your responsibility, if you've got a feeling from tonight, if you're sitting there feeling hungry for more and going, no, please go, keep going, or whatever it is you might be doing there, your responsibility is to know that the universe is trying to use you as a messenger. If you're getting a feeling, keep going, Raquel says. Listen, I would love to, but I got an appointment in 5 minutes, all right? So I can't. I would love to. Oh, you guys, thanks for the love. Thanks for the love. So here's what you do. The universe has got this all set up, guys. Don't worry. There's a plan bigger than ours. See, if I went right now, I'd be letting my plan get in the way of the plan. And let me tell you why I know that. Because maybe something touched you tonight. Maybe, it started to stir something in you. Now you've got tonight and the rest of the week to ponder on those feelings and to catch yourself, consciously when you are, when you're not chasing your dreams and you're not being true to yourself. Start becoming conscious of that. You'll get yourself a greater awareness to that. And we've got time to promote it. There's not enough people on the line. I don't want to share a message that's going to be that strong unless we've got 300 people on the line. So for next Tuesday night, I want you to do me a favor. Let's spread this word. If you really feel like, oh, this is going to be good message, I can feel it, I want it right now, you've got a vibration around it, not wanting to stop right now, that's not because of me. That's the universe wanting to use you as a message. There's a message in you. There's something there, and you're not supposed to keep that for yourself. You're supposed to use that to either be a messenger or to spread the word or to go and use that and touch someone else's life or whatever it might be. So, allow yourself to be led wherever that feeling leads you. Let's fill these lines just after Easter. Everyone would have had a great break. So, it's really, no one wants to go back to work the Tuesday after Easter. It's like, oh gosh, we've got to go. They've just lived a bit of a fantasy life for 4 or 5 days. So they're in a really good mindset to receive the message that I'm going to share next Tuesday night. So let's just use this week to promote. You guys have an incredible Easter. Be present in all your moments. Be present as much as you can. And as I always say, don't just get off the phone and hang up tonight. As you leave here tonight, depart from here with courage. The courage to believe in a better way. The courage to voice what you've got to say. The courage to thrive when times are tough. And above all else, the courage to know you are good enough. Good night, everyone. You're welcome, you beautiful people. Thank you. Thank you. See you guys next week. Good night. You're the best. You're the best, Carmen.